Guys, Deluded Gooner. Now, I've seen a couple videos on this subject, and a couple people have asked me, and I thought, why not do my own thing? What is the most important position in football? Now, in fact, let me not say my personal opinion, but I mean, how do we look at it? Is it strikers? Is it centre halves? Is it centre mids? Is it forwards / wingers? Because I mean, in today's day and age, strikers and wingers and forward players, it's all very ambiguous depending on how you look at it. Do I think Deulofeu, for example, is a winger? Yes, but in certain positions or I'm tired, guys. Or certain formations, he might be classified as a forward. So please don't get hung up on this, all you football experts. But yeah, what is the most important position? Let's start with the back. Let's start with the keeper now. Why? What claims does the keeper have to be the best in the position? Firstly, you're a goalie. You make one mistake, 9 times out of 10 it leads to a goal. I mean, if I'm a right back and I might misplace a pass, I might not necessarily pay for that. If a keeper misplace a pass, you've seen strikers pounce upon that. Or if a keeper dives to his left when he should have dived to his right, or dives a second too early, or second guesses himself and things like that, he might not achieve what he tried to achieve. And I say this with a pinch of salt, because you guys know I love that saying, a pinch of salt. We've seen a couple of exceptions to the rule. Bravo frauded me. We've seen Bravo's not a keeper that we thought he was. Victor Valdez was a good keeper, but he wasn't exactly a great keeper. But 9 times out of 10, any league title that you've seen or league winners you've seen, they've had a good keeper. Or whether you think they're necessarily a good keeper or not, it's been someone that's been consistent that season, or reliable or dependable. You look at Van der Sar, you look at Neuer, you look at Buffon at a point, you look at several at other clubs. You can insert your own examples in that regard. Peter Shilton at one point. All of these sick keepers throughout several periods, man. You can't really do that. For me personally, from going back to my grassroots days, I see keepers as my eyes and ears, man. Shout out to George Montel if he watches this. But part of the back five, forward the keepers, so I always say that, eyes and ears. He will tell you what's happening. He will tell you if you've got space to push on. I like my keepers with a big personality, talking, eyes and ears, like I said. And not only that, in today's day and age, especially with the Pep business, what are you seeing Ederson doing? He's as crucial as the centre mids to any attacking phase of play. How much times have you seen Ederson start a move to a goal, or Ederson clip a ball over the top and it started something? I'm so sure against United that's an excellent example of what he brings to the table in that aspect. We know with today's age, everyone has to be on ball playing nowadays, but you get me, like keepers serious. For me as well, keepers breed confidence and things. Like George, like I said, when George was up for it and I saw George, sometimes we might be having a nervy game, I see George or Zaid, my keeper at school in Winchmore, I might see him make a bad boy save. I might see them make a bad boy save. It reassures you. It's like, yeah, I've got a 30 keeper. If I have a 30 keeper with a big kick as a fullback, I can now run beyond and make a run. Well, I've played for teams where the keeper hasn't got a big kick and I can't afford to overlap, because if that ball does not reach past the halfway line or doesn't reach where he wants, that team might have a counter and I might not necessarily be able to stop them, but as a fullback I've got to be in position. So that's the keepers. Centre half now. Same, the concentration levels, well, concentration all over the pitch has to be there, but the concentration levels required for a centre-half are next to none, not next to none, extremely high. I mean, how many times have you seen a centre-half mark someone at a corner, lose their marker, lose concentration, lose their marker, and that's Harry Kane or whatever, put it in the back of the net? You have to think smarter. You have to be incredibly calculated. Positioning is everything as a centre-half. It's not everything, but it can save you. John Terry, excellent ball player, especially with his left peg that doesn't get spoke about. Quality tackling and all of these things. But what made him the best, one of the best for what he did, is the positioning and his brain. He could quickly make a decision within a couple moments as to what I need to do. Okay, I'm John Terry. I'm not as fast as whatever striker. I'm going to drop off a couple yards to allow myself half a chance. Or I need to be in that space. They're going to attack that space. Let me get into that space. These are the sort of things you need to do as a centre half. You've got to be calculated. And if I flip it on its head, how many times at Arsenal have you seen the goal we conceded? Kane's header against Spurs. That you could attribute the fullbacks and the midfielders not doing their job, but the centre-halves, one's not marking and one is completely unaware of how much space or where his runners are. So you need to be very calculated. You need to learn how to help your team retain shape. You need to have a big character on you, necessarily. I'm not saying you need to be on shouting, but you need to pull your centre-mids back and your wingers back when they need to be. You need to tell your fullbacks when they can push on, when to narrow, when to shuffle across, and things like this. You need to liaise with your keeper. You need to have a voice, to be honest. 100% concentration. How many times have we seen fullbacks not pushing on or sitting too deep and teams have taken advantage of that? So yeah, centre halves have an example. Fullbacks, I'm biased as hell. I was a fullback, a failed winger or a fullback, so I'm gonna say fullbacks. I'm going to say it. You see now, let's say 2004, people rated the likes of Gary Neville and stuff, but they weren't necessarily important. They were important in the sense that they were unofficial captains. They were consistent. They just done their job. But fast forward 10 years or so, 2015, Dani Alves. He's a winger, essentially. The defensive aspects might have been getting downplayed a bit by all fullbacks, but what is his keys? Strength. Another winger, scoring goals and assisting. It might not be on par with the further forward players that have a career further forward, but you get it. You have to nowadays be a winger. Obviously, you have to defend. You need to stretch the pitch. A couple times, if you're in a Pep side as a fullback, you need to go inside and make the midfield more compact. Fullbacks need to have endless amounts of energy. How many times have you seen your fullbacks not tucking in or not tracking back? You can see the gaps without even being live there. You can see the gaps on the TV. So fullbacks are vital as well. Added to that, you're seeing teams, look at Poch. Well, maybe not so this year. Well, Davis is crossing the ball in, like I said earlier, against Spurs, another good example. But when it was Walker and Rose, that were the real width in that Spurs team putting in crosses. So you can see how important they are. Fullbacks have to be able to take on multiple jobs at once. And on top of that, sometimes be able to have to track a man and stuff like that. So yeah. It is a very hard position, man. If you haven't tucked in and defended your centre half, your centre half's gonna get doubled up against. If you don't shuffle across quick enough, there's going to be gaps. If you don't tell people your winger to pull in, you're going to get doubled up against. If you don't overlap, your team is going to be disadvantaged. And even now, you see Arsenal, we getting Bellerin, for example, gets in excellent positions, and his end product isn't there, but he's getting in them positions. So you can see why how fullbacks are vital. Monreal, how much goals has he scored for us? And other teams there. Fullbacks are vital nowadays. So to be honest, they have a very strong case as well. Midfield players, central midfield players, should I say? They've got to be physically fit. That's the first one, the engine. How many times have you seen central midfielders run up the field and not run back, and there's gaps, and their midfield, if they're in a pivot, their midfield man's isolated. It's 2 versus 1, 3 versus 1. Nobody is Superman unless you're Ronaldinho. Nobody is Superman. You will get destroyed. How many times have we seen midfielders? I said ours because Arsenal, the things are coming to me. Have we seen our midfielders not shutting down crosses, for example? Yes, that's the fullback's job, but a couple of times if midfielders shuffle across, they save them. There's several things a midfielder has to be able to do. Again, has to organise, has to know when to press. How many times have we said a midfield is slow to press or midfield is slow to drop? Midfielders, again, it's tying into the centre half. You've got to be so calculated. You've got to be in the right position at the right time. If you're a defensive mid, you need to be there to screen your back 4 or 5, including the keeper, or they're going to get destroyed. If you're a creative player, you've got to be in the right positions. If the likes of Modric, Iniesta, David Silva, Busquets, obviously, they let's not be technical. They are midfield players, isn't it? They're central midfield players, and they can be fit there. They're some of the best in the world because they think fast. They calculate. They know a minute before they get the ball. My man is making a run. I'm going to clip it over them, and then I'm going to overlap. You need to be a smart. Kevin De Bruyne, even he's not. I wouldn't call him necessarily a central midfielder, but he's playing there. Cesc Fabregas as well. You get where I'm going. On top of being physically fit, you need to be so smart. Like, it's ridiculous. You've got to pull wingbacks, thingies as well, wingbacks, fullbacks back as well. Now, if we talk about wingers / strikers, why they got a case of being the most important? Because obviously they pay the entrance fee. I mean, we all go to watch Messi, Neymar, Suarez, Aubameyang now at Arsenal. Lacazette, obviously I'm not saying these guys are world class, but these are the guys that man are paying to go and watch the football matches for. At the end of the day, as well, goals win games. So by that basis, they could be the most important. At the end of the day, if you don't score, you don't win a football match. 9 times out of 10, without me sounding silly saying that. They're the most entertaining. They get the entrance fee. They do all of these things, and I even look at Messi and Ronaldo. They get the entrance fees. At the end of the day, these players make the difference for their teams. And the importance of these wingers / forwards, whatever you want to call them, can be backed up by the fact that, let's be honest, the market was inflated by wingers, and the market is inflated now, but you're not getting actual quality. People are paying high fees for mediocre players. So that shows you it's scarce how much quality. I know there's not the lack of quality centre halves about, but lack of quality wingers. How many times as an Arsenal fan have we said we're missing wingers and things like this? They make the difference. On the basis as well that, like I said on Messi and Ronaldo, if you was to ask 9 times out of 10 nowadays, maybe not so back in the days when defending was a bit more cherished and held in high regard, but if you 9 times out of 10, if you ask anyone their best players, or not necessarily favoured, who they think is the best 5 to 10 players in the world, when they say 10, they might say some defenders, but I guarantee the first 5 are going to 100% be midfield players, 100% be or more attacking-based players. You're going to hear Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Suarez. You're going to hear that, or am I lying, guys? So to a degree, that's the example. Now, lastly, my personal opinion, yeah, you could say a goalie is the most important, centre-half's most important, midfielder. All of them have individual cases, but it's a bit like a car, well-drilled machine. I think it's very lazy to say that either one has to be able to do their job. I mean, it's like an orchestra. If the man that are playing I don't know about orchestra, but if the man that are playing the piano and them things there are not in harmony, the sound isn't going to sound as wavy, is it? When the conductor's doing it, the conductor being the manager. If the conductor says, piano man, you need to play, my man with the other instruments, you need to play, everybody's got to sing the same song from the same hymn sheet. If the vocals are off, let's just say that the vocals being the midfielders, there's going to be gaps. You get where I'm going. Better example is a car. The driver being the manager again. If your defenders being your exhaust pipe, if that's not working, your car's not working to its 100%. If the engine's not working, car's not working to 100%. Headlights not working. It's not working to 100%. If you put no petrol in the car, we can say that's the midfield generals. No petrol in the car, it's not going to move no matter how much it's working. If the brakes don't work, yeah, you can drive the car, but when you need to stop the car, well, go on for yourself. It's not working 100%. So it is, to a degree, it is probably lazy to say, just a single position is the most important. I believe they all are. I'm a fullback, so I'm going to say the fullback, but I can't lie, now that I'm making this video and speaking with you guys, based on what I've just said about wingers/forwards, I'm starting to lean to that camp, but I do believe it's all of them, guys. But I'm waffling. I hope I've given you guys some quality content or something to take away from this. Guys, Deluded Gooner, YouTube's N'Golo Kante. Thank you for watching. I'm out.